Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's your boy DC, and I am the Thursday night host of Out of the Fog. It's a local matters bop that goes right across the province, where we connect you with what's new, what's next, and what's happening with the best and brightest and everyday folks with important things to say and stories to tell. I love it so much. We're getting ready for the summer season, so only a few shows remain. I'm so pumped for tonight. Variety of topics we're going to be going into here. Perinatal, everything that you want to know. Archana and Krista, very powerful, amazing, brave, courageous ladies with experience and stories to tell, and you're going to want to stay tuned. And then after that, we got Krista Wells. It's Georgetown on my mind, the hottest gram bop on the go. It's Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break.
You're watching Rogers TV, St. John's.
Hey everyone, it is Jason Piercy, host of Out of the Fog on Tuesday nights at 7:30. You're definitely going to want to watch because you never know what I'm going to get into. It's all about community. It's all about you. So watch Tuesday, 7:30.
Watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Out of the Fog, and I'm very excited to have these two fearless, powerful, brave, incredible women join today to talk about a subject that I think we were talking before the break, and we're just so lucky that we have arrived at a time where we can embrace subject matter like this, talk about it confidently, and help other people like you folks watching at home or someone that you may know. Archana, Crystal, hello.
Hi. Hi.
How are you both?
Good. Thank you for having us.
A pleasure. A long time coming based on the back and forth that led us here.
Yes.
So as I mentioned, as you know, mental health. How lucky are we to be in the age of awareness and being able to talk about the various components of mental health, and each one deserves its own attention. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And the one that speaks true to us is the perinatal mental health, or traditionally called postpartum depression. But now we know that mental health during pregnancy, the fertility journey, postpartum is so much bigger than that. And it affects so many people. The national average, 23% of women are experiencing mental health illness during pregnancy and postpartum. And unfortunately, here in the province, we have some of the highest rates in Canada at 28%. So that's over 1,000 families, not just women, but families that are affected every single year.
Crystal, you don't know nothing about that, do you?
Not a thing.
I'll bring someone else in, I guess. Anyone? No. I mean, please, lead us into your story, and then we'll all continue.
Perfect. Well, 6 years ago, I had a beautiful baby girl. Always wanted to be a mom. And after I had her, things are a little more complicated than you expect going. Everything is more complicated when you have a little one. You can't really mentally prepare yourself for it. So, things, about the baby blues. Didn't really know a whole lot about postpartum depression, heard about it, but I didn't realize that it also includes the anxiety, the other emotions, and the physical symptoms that go along with it. So along my journey, I found myself obsessing about the little things, feedings, the amounts, whether or not they had a dirty or wet diaper. I was recording it all. And then the anxiety just kept building. Every little thing that might have gone wrong with her was something else for me to worry about. And it just led to extreme irritability, panic attacks, just crying spurts. I'd be on high alert all the time, double checking door locks to make sure that things were safe. I set an alarm clock so I wouldn't miss something, and there's a baby kind of right next to me that's not going to let me oversleep. It was just those feelings. And in the moment, I could rationalize them. And I found a reason for all of those feelings. And unfortunately, that led to it getting missed for a period of time. So my family doctor knew I was high risk, just given my history and my pregnancy history and those type of things. You know, my friends and family had heard about postpartum depression, but not really what to look out for.
Right.
The symptoms themselves made me withdraw and avoid my friends. And even the public health nurse, like I was followed more frequently by community health and the public health nurse, but I very rarely had the same nurse. So that consistency just wasn't there. So whenever she'd ask me how I was feeling, I was able to rationalize all my feelings, and I just didn't have that comfort level to kind of go into depth of how I was exactly feeling. So even though I was being followed, it slipped through the cracks.
I think a lot of people have that experience.
I think so. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are afraid of that stigma. So they're afraid to be that mom. You know, on social media, you're seeing these perfect moms every day and what you think everybody expects motherhood to be. And it's just all this pressure. And if you're not keeping up with that, it makes you feel like a failure. So you don't want to admit that you're having those struggles.
Of course. Makes perfect sense. You are so eloquent and you've described your journey so well. And so I'll turn back to you. 28%, eh? Average is 21. What's up with that?
You know, it's really interesting, and there's been some national surveys trying to figure out what is each province doing. You know, where are what are the pieces that are missing when it comes to perinatal mental health and perinatal, you know, health care. And, you know, for some reason here in the province, you know, actually the highest is Nova Scotia, which is interesting at 31%. Wow. Yeah. But, you know, we have so many challenges here in the province where, you know, in terms of numbers, we're small, but geography is really big. True. So that sense of isolation is real. So not only, you know, does postpartum or the fertility journey make you feel more isolated, we have a, you know, geographical isolation as well. We have populations of rotational workers, right? So a lot of, you know, young people are traveling or being away from their families, which can really impact, you know, that development and care. There's the stigma that Crystal was talking about, not only in the public, but also in healthcare. So this lack of awareness, the stigma, we're not asking the questions. When we do, it's not consistent. We're not seeing the same people in healthcare. So for so many reasons, you know, we have these higher rates and we need to do better about it.
I think the reasons that you've put forth just now are wow, and they make perfect sense that there would be a lack of education or awareness or consistency, and that we do have some unique geographical and economic realities as a province that are driving this ahead. So for a moment, I'd like to digress. What led you into the work that you do? And tell everyone viewing at home a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, you know, I went through my residency training. I have two beautiful young boys at home.
Amazing.
And, you know, that sense of isolation was real. We were in Ottawa, I was postpartum, and the anxiety that you feel of having to navigate this journey by yourself, it's incredible. And, you know, it got me thinking there must be more to this. There must be more conversations about this. So I just took some opportunities to explore and learn and educate, did some great work in training in Ottawa with their perinatal mental health team there, and really learned as much as I could and realized, you know, there's so much disconnect. There's, you know, sure, we have some psychiatrists or counselors or therapists, but what about the community? What about the groups and organizations that are working with young mothers and young parents? Why does no one know about each other, right?
Yeah, right.
So we got to work better on not only, you know, making that awareness, but, you know, eliminating the silos in care. So, you know, when I returned back to Newfoundland, I realized, wow, we're not talking about it. There's very limited supports, and we, again, just need to do better.
I mean, I feel the same way. The subject of mental health and the education, awareness, and support factors of that, I feel very close to in a bunch of ways. And I've learned so much through the journey. And I recently did mental health first aid. And you know what never came up? This slice of the pie that we're talking about today. And clearly anyone in the public square who has, you know, a new mom in their lives can assume it's stressful. And yet I feel like we are all, as a people, still getting woke to the fact that anxiety and depression are mental health realities. And yet we all are still, to a great extent, trying to negotiate those privately and come to terms with our moods and moments. When you finally received the information that you needed, how did it make you feel?
Well, it's kind of funny because it was a little bit of self-realization. So I had my little girl in July, and it was now Christmas time. And Christmas has always been my favorite time of year. It's been very family-oriented for me. The social gatherings, it was always the best time. And it was my little girl's first Christmas, so it should have been so much more intense. But instead of enjoying it, I despised everything about it. Didn't want to decorate when I was known as somebody that decked all of the halls. You know, I didn't want to go to any of the social gatherings. And I just found all the symptoms had gotten so much worse. And I'm like, you know what? What I'm feeling is not related to everything that has been going on. Like, this is not normal. Like, this cannot be normal. So at that point, I called my family doctor and I made myself an appointment. And I basically said, you know what? Like, I am not okay. I know I've been saying I'm okay, but this is what's really going on. And it was so much relief. I think I cried leaving that appointment.
I'd say.
Just to know that, you know what? This is gonna get better and I'm gonna be able to enjoy my baby. I'm going to be able to have that mothering experience that I've always wanted.
And lead me through to life today, we see.
Well, as you can tell, there's another little one on the way. And you know, I feel so much different about it this time. You know, the anxiety is already kind of creeping up there. I know from my past experience that I'm definitely high risk, but I feel like it's talked about a little more now. I'm much more self-aware of it. My family and friends, they know what to be on the lookout for and they know how to help. And there's the things like the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance that I can reach out to and find other resources and help when I need it. So it's not scary to me anymore.
I love it. We're in our final moment, minute we'll say. I thank you both so much for coming on. You are brave and you are powerful and you are amazing.
Thank you.
Your child and child-to-be should be lucky to have you. Speaking of, how can more people watching at home who have a friend or someone in their own lives, maybe themselves, going through this moment, how and what can you offer them in terms of resources?
Absolutely. You know, it starts with a conversation. It starts by asking, how can I help? How are you doing? And actually mean it, right? And see, you know, in this time of such isolation with the pandemic, what are some other ways that we can help? Is it meals? Is it support? Is it just a conversation? Is it talking? But recognizing when it's getting a bit too much or if it's a bit too overwhelming, checking out our website, which we're so proud to offer now, Perinatal Mental Health Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador. We have tried to pull together all of our provincial resources, all the groups, doulas, midwives, peer support groups, family resource center information, you know, all on one website. So it makes it as easy as possible, not only for the mothers or parents going through this, but caregivers as well, professionals as well, so that they can learn more about what is actually happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful to meet you both, the amazing work you're doing, and being so candid about that. And I hope people watching here this evening are able to find the resources that they need if they know someone or themselves going through a matter like this. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
It's about sharing and caring. It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and I'm fanboy of the year over here. And it's hilarious because I never thought of myself as an interior design kind of guy, though I do love all the grams and all the inspiration that we see. I'm joined today by Krista Wells.
Hello, how are you?
Well, Krista, I got Georgetown on my mind. Do you?
Well, I certainly do, 100%, all the time.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Yep.
For the viewers at home, if you have not been on Georgetown on My Mind, which is an Instagram channel that I'm sure you're waking up every day to a bizarre number of follows.
It's been popular lately, yes, which I'm very thankful for.
Oh, I bet. So tell us everything and I'll set it up for you.
Sure.
Power Townie from the East End lives life.
Sounds about right.
Has a teaching career.
I teach first grade.
Love it. And then what?
So Georgetown on My Mind kind of came about because I have always been into creativity and design and DIY. And Georgetown on My Mind kind of came about when we had the opportunity to buy my in-laws' house. They decided to retire and move to Ottawa about 2 years ago, almost 3 now.
Okay.
And Georgetown on My Mind was kind of it kind of grew out of that. It was a hobby that's kind of turned into its own beast, which, like I said, I'm very thankful for. I love it. I think my favorite thing about it is the community that I've built in it.
So always in the DIY. Is that a family thing? Like, what sparked that for you?
So my dad is pretty handy.
Was he, yeah?
Yeah, so, I always say that Georgetown on My Mind kind of came about because I was tired of asking my dad and my husband to do things for me. So I was like, you know what? I got this, I can figure it out. And I think that's the thing about Georgetown on My Mind. That's what I'm promoting, is that you don't have to ask or to wait for, a family member to help you. You're able to accomplish this on your own. Like, we got this. We got this.
Well,
so,
I love that.
Yeah, and when people say, where did you learn everything that you do, I always respond with, I spend too much time on the internet. YouTube and Instagram are just a plethora of information. So if you can't figure out how to do something, there's a YouTube video for that.
There's a very empowering energy that is happening right now. And I hope you guys at home are taking this in as well, which is like, we don't gotta wait for people who we think know how to do it and diminish our own. We can learn how to do the things.
100%. And there's nothing, I'm not saying anything against anybody who, has gone to school and learned to do that.
Sure.
Inevitably, and there are certain things that I won't take on, electrical and plumbing amongst them. Those are beyond my
scope. You're not into hooking up some pipes and
No. I'll
some...
replace a light fixture or switch, but no. We had tile installed in our porch and we wanted heated floors. So, I called in the pros. That's the kind of job that I want to make sure is done appropriately and properly. But there are lots of things that, you don't have to contract out for.
So, you get this house. You were DIYing it, living life. You buy the house. Did you know that you would end up doing what you've been doing to that house? You know what I mean?
Not to the extent that we've done it. Like, we've made a lot of changes, but I don't think when we started out that we thought that it would be as many changes as we made. But we're loving the direction it's headed in. So, and it's been a lot of fun, obviously.
You wake up, you're walking down a hall to a room, you see something. Is this how it happens?
Sometimes, yes. So during the pandemic, during the most recent lockdown, I got it in my head. So there's 2 closets that join, that one was belonged to our bedroom and one was belonged to where I had my own closet. And I got it in my head that I was going to tear this wall out. So on a Tuesday afternoon, once I was finished with all my school work, I just kind of took the oscillating saw and put a hole in the wall.
As one would.
It kind of just went from there. So after about 2 weeks, we had a giant hole in the wall, but now it looks like a passageway, like a little secret passageway. It's fantastic. So sometimes, yes, it does happen like, I'm bored, I need to do something. Most times it's much more thought out than that, though. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And yet inspiration, you never know when it's going to strike.
that's the other thing. You don't.
Like wallpaper on the ceiling.
100%.
I mean, who would've
Ceilings are
thought?
the new accent wall. You heard it here first.
Listen, I know I have heard it here first, and that's why I'm shook.
I'm
It's
serious.
Like, yes.
Ceilings are the new accent wall. I'm convinced.
I mean, seeing that alone was its own thing, and then hearing you have the way that you interact with your channel and the videos and the how-tos. I mean, there's like an authentic energy there. You don't seem nervous at all. Have you always been comfortable in front of camera and presenting? And I guess being a teacher helps with that, hey?
Funny enough, when I was in elementary school and junior high, when it came, everybody has speeches that time of year when the speech gets written and you have to present. I was a huge chicken. I did not enjoy that. But I think I spent a lot of my summers away in front of crowds and doing a whole bunch of fun things, and I think that's part of it. And also I think, and there are lots of people who are afraid to, as they say, talk to the camera, but I don't think about it as I'm talking to the camera. I think about it as I'm talking to a large group of friends who, are interested in what I'm talking about. So.
When that's the key.
Yeah, and that is the key. And I think it's really important to be authentic and, when you make mistakes, to admit that. And DIY, and I said this to a friend who I'm working on a room with this week, it's not perfection. Like DIY, you will notice there are some mistakes, but you didn't have to pay for it, so it's DIY, And you did it. There's a sense of satisfaction in the fact that you did it yourself.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I can only imagine the feedback you're getting. Talk to me about that. It must be hilarious.
It's been good. I get lots and lots of questions.
Do you?
Yeah, I get lots of questions. People looking for advice, which I'm more than happy to help. I get a lot of questions and a lot of requests, which unfortunately at the moment I just don't have the bandwidth to accept. But that's something that hopefully down the road I'll be able to help more people.
Sure.
So yeah, I would love to be able to do that.
And there's only so many hours in a day. You love teaching. We talked about that.
I do.
There's no energy around that. There's only so much of you. Yeah. And as a consultant in my own path,
yes,
it's hard to say no.
It's really hard to say no. And I'm very much a yes person.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm not good at saying no.
I'm like, you care about me enough to ask me to do the thing?
Right, exactly.
I don't care what it is. I'm so blown away. I'm going to say yes, Meanwhile, should we? We don't know.
I know. Well, sometimes you need to be able to say no.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the local interior design scene.
Sure.
Lots of fresh, amazing energies and companies and services and places to buy the home decor and get 100%. The design inspiration. Tip your hat to a few people who you respect.
Some people who I love, I really, really love Sam Cribb from Plank Design, and Sasha too, who does Newfoundland Stage & Co. Yeah, and they just got a second season with Rock Solid Builds. I'm super excited.
Some folks are sleeping
I just
early.
want to say for Rock Solid Builds, Nikki for president. Like, I'm obsessed. I love Nikki.
That show's doing really well.
It is. I think it's great.
I think more people probably are searching for like Newfoundland design and related keywords, which is exciting. Does it make you want to branch out into the web space beyond social channels?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? I mean, I can only imagine the goings on and the podcasts and everything that you can be doing in life. What's next?
Oh, yeah. So at the moment, I'm working on a one-room challenge, which is something Better Homes and Gardens is a media partner for that. And the one-room challenge is basically a 6 to 8 week period. They do it in the spring and in the fall. And you take a room and you basically have to make it over in that amount of time. So I have officially run out of full rooms in my house. So in the fall, I did a friend's. I did a close friend's bedroom and their like walk-in closet. And currently, I'm doing a friend's family room. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. And we got lots of DIYs, lots of good things happening in there. Had a big reveal yesterday with some Krista Power wallpaper. So I'm all about local and supporting the local scene.
That.
So I think, anybody who's willing to put themselves out there as a small business, we should be behind them 110%. Whether it's with, our followership, our dollars, what have you.
I agree. I really hope we all lean into the conversation around what it means to put community first
100%.
And that the money goes into the jerseys on your kid's back and the swimming lessons and all of the things we enjoy in our little communities versus the vacuum suck of money going God knows where I think that's something that we all need to celebrate more is the amazing artists and talent and dependable contractors and sources for services right here in our backyard, because that's where the money stays.
Yeah. And there's a lot of really wonderful small makers here in town who are doing great things. So lots of people in the home decor realm. Your Boat is one of them. I love Emily's candles and her sprays. They're awesome. Ruby Rope Designs. She's lovely. She makes beautiful bowls. So yeah, big fan of some of those guys.
I want everyone at home here, as we get prepared to jump into our break, I want you to check out Georgetown on My Mind, experience the creative wonder of Krista, and just follow her adventures as she makes every corner, crack, and crevice of every room in her house everything that we are dying for. So keep it up.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having
again.
me.
I want to have you on all the time because we're just having a wicked time. Anyway, guys, this is Out of the Fog, Georgetown on My Mind. And we'll be right back after this break. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Out of the Fog tonight. I'll tell you what, it's very powerful to hear the stories of real life folks every day. You might pass them on the street, in the hallway. You don't know what folks are going through. So make sure that we exercise some compassion and lean in and really make sure that we're taking good care of each other. And when it comes to empowerment and doing things yourself, don't be afraid. As Krista said earlier, the internet is a place where it all happens. Well, here we have all the incredible folks that help make every show amazing all season long. I'm so thankful to be a part of that cast. Michelle, Julia, Perry, Dan, everybody under the sun, thank you so much for helping with these shows, and we'll see you next time.
If you have a comment about this